I had to hit that note eventually. How are you doing, guys? My name is Jeremiah Nickel, aka JT Nickel on the Reddits, at ProDJKC on Twitter, and I just want to make a quick video here. So yeah, lots of drama in the EthTrader land with the polls and the governance and the donuts, and now we got the tokenization going on in a token bridge where you can swap out your karma for donuts and your donuts for ERC20 tokens and then bring them back to Reddit. So the bridge has been shut down for now. I think the author of the DApp, genius, but I think he had some fears, like he wanted to talk to the legal team a little bit about, is he like some kind of weird money transmitter? The other part of it is that although it's a great idea, it is centralized to one person, so we don't have like a multi-sig way of dealing with that yet, but it is kind of a fascinating deal here where karma on Reddit has been tokenized somewhat. So for those of you who don't know the history, we were approached by a Reddit administrator, Internet Mall Cop, shout out to you. He approached Carl S. Larson, who is the lead moderator and I think founder of EthTrader, and reached out, and with the other moderators' blessings, at least 3 or 4 of us were like, let's try it out. So they introduced what are called points, and then we elected to call them donuts as a community, and this is before we started talking about actually using it for governance. So they got called donuts, and then we have this ability to do polls, and the polls can be weighted based on like your time in the sub and your contributions to the sub. People were airdropped their allotted donuts based on their participation in the sub. So those of us who have been here for a long time have made lots of comments and whatnot. And some of the concern was there's a lot of people that are just lurkers. And so with the polling, we can at least get raw votes. So you don't have to be a contributor to the sub. You just need to be a member of it, and then you can vote. And your raw votes can be counted. However, there is a weighted feature where people with donuts carry more weight. Their vote means a little bit more. It's almost like an electoral college, I guess you could say. And a lot of people have problems with this because the moderators were airdropped 15% of the supply, the original supply. And then there was a poll done that was reducing the moderator allocation from 15% down to 8%. And so that's where we're at currently. And now what we're trying to do is figure out how the best way to do some governance. So if we want to do some site-wide changes to EthTrader, we're trying to embrace the community's input as well. And still, you know, people have good reason to worry that moderators carry so much weight. And then we have some old school types that have been here for a long time, and like the top 35 addresses, if you pile those all together, constitute some 50% of the total donuts that are in existence. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff to work through. Personally, this is only my opinion, and other mods may share this opinion, but we don't always agree on everything, is that I think that the raw votes need to be much higher. These polls are really good if people actually use them, and if we give more weight just to the raw votes, not just to the weighted vote. And so there's been some discussion about that, but it's so early right now. And some of the other feedback we've been getting as moderators is a lot of people in the community are like, just do what you're doing. The moderators are doing a fine job. The site's really cleaned up. I don't think you guys realize just how much. I'm going to put my hat off to Mr. Yukon C. And Carl's done an amazing job too. Mr. Yukon C during the ICO craze was going through very diligently and taking people's history, and he was figuring out there was a lot of brigading going on by paid shills, and we figured out which domains they were coming from, and he made the auto moderator blacklist them. And so if we didn't have people in there, what I think it's called the wiki for the moderator, it's like putting in all the keywords to look for, like bad domains and whatnot. If Mr. Yukon C hadn't done that, as early as he started doing it, and he was doing it during the ICO craze of 2017, our sub would look a hell of a lot like a GeoCities ad spam page, right? So he's done a magnificent job. Like, there's so much stuff that bubbles under the surface on our sub that is just trash, utter trash. And a lot of you guys, it was really kind to hear. Some of you are like, who cares about the polling? We like how the moderators are doing things right now. Are things perfect? No. They're never perfect because we're all human, right? So we start, if you look at, there's actually public mod logs if you want to look. We've got about 4 really, really active moderators. We have some moderators that are not quite as active, and there's been talk amongst the moderators about trying to open up positions for like 3 or 4 moderators to replace some of the ones that aren't working as hard. And we found out that one of our guys has actually been paying for the ticker at the top of old Reddit. So it's $10 a month from Amazon. He shouldn't have to pay that. You know, I don't know how we're going to deal with that. If we have tokenized donuts, we'd know how we would deal with it. You just have take it out of a community fund or have people donate to the donut address to help pay for the ticker. I mean, it's $10 a month, but still, nobody should have to shoulder that as an individual. So thank you to Etherboard. But he has talked about maybe stepping down because he's not doing any actions beyond that. And but supplying that to our sub has been vital. So anyway, I'm just kind of thinking out loud about what's going on. I've been actually very frustrated. And we've had a lot of talks in moderators, and some people tend to believe that all the moderators we all get along and we all are on the same page all the time about things. For instance, the polling, the governance polling, people were worried that, well, between Carl and myself and Mr. Yukon and a couple other guys, you know, we have pretty much the weight to push forward any agenda that we want based on the threshold amount, and it's just simply not true. Just because moderators are on a team doesn't mean that we don't have our own individual identities on the sub. And so I know that there's been polls that I've gone against other moderators on. So some people feel like, you know, I'm saying very few, but I think some people are under the impression that we sit around in a smoky room with you know, cheap scotch and try to screw up, you know, whatever I don't know. We get some interesting mod mail, I'll say that. Like, the tin foil runs pretty thick on some people's heads, but that's okay. We're in a sub where money is a deal. I understand how people get fired up. So anyway, I'm just kind of rambling out loud. Did you guys see this? These guys should have went to the Super Bowl, by the way. That's Harrison Butker. He's the field goal guy for the Chiefs. I just got his autograph, so anyway, there's that. Anyway, I don't care about the Super Bowl. I don't even want to bring that up. I hope you guys are having a good time during the bear market. I mean, the train is parked at Accumulation Station, right? I hope. I don't know, volume's been okay for being in the dumps, and hopefully we kind of just bounce around here for a while. I'd be okay with that, because it's kind of like the longer we sit here and the longer it's going to take for us to get out of here, I think the more rewarding it'll be. And I've always said, you know, my horizon is several years anyway, and I had goals for January 1st, 2020. I may move the goalpost back a bit because it looks like things have been delayed. And, you know, when I first said January 1st, 2020, I'm still going to make some decisions, but they won't be the same decisions because I feel like the timeline of things getting pushed back. Although it's crazy, like, we got some plasma actual test nets rolling out, and the Ether 2.0 protocol is like the thing that's going to take the longest is the testing of it, right? It seems like they have been kind of crushing it lately, but I still have this idea in my mind that this roadmap is either never going to be complete because they're finding new ways to build the Swiss Army knife all the time, and some of the developer calls, what was it, some videos I saw, one of the videos that was posted, one of the guys had mentioned, you know, give us 5 years to get to Casper. So, okay, you know, there we are, 2024, that's another deadline, that's another goalpost, that's another plan of action, and just keep your ears out for what's going on. I'm still not convinced that there's much else to look at, but I'm all in on Ethereum. And so my blinders are on, but really I'm all in on EthTrader too. I still enjoy that place, although it's crazy how we've had several, like the dailies had less than 500 comments for several days. So yeah, people are kind of on a snooze fest right now with the winter, and understandably so. But I'm telling you, these 10,000 comment days will return again someday, okay? Just be careful out there and do your diligence, right? And I'll keep practicing the trombone. Hope I don't butcher it anymore. But anyway, love you guys. Have a great weekend. It's going to be finally getting out of the freezer box here in Kansas City area. And any of you guys going to East Denver, I hope you guys have a blast out there. If I didn't have to DJ a gig that weekend, I was like this close to think about going, but I don't know. I might just stay here in Kansas City. Maybe someday we'll have a symposium for EthTrader right here in Kansas City, and we'll arrange some catering and an event space and hotel rooms and talk about whatever we want. All right, cheers. Big hugs from Kansas City. Take care, guys. Bye.